What if I told you that the Earth was flat, and we've been lied to for our entire lives? Everything we've ever been told in school, in the media, and by scientists about the Earth, the solar system, and the universe has been an elaborate deception pulled over our eyes to keep us from discovering the singular truth that lies at the heart of our very existence. Can we live on a flat plane, a simple disk encapsulated by a dome-like firmament above that contains the sun, the moon, and the entirety of the known universe? And there's a 100-meter tall ice wall that surrounds our flat Earth. And if you even think about going there, armed guards will be there waiting to get rid of you. Well, let's talk about the flat Earth. For that, we're going to need a map. There are many variations on what people consider to be the definitive flat Earth atlas. Still, the most common diagram will be based on the azimuthal equidistant projection that places the North Pole at the center. There are still millions of people around the world who genuinely do believe this. But we prove that the Earth was round over 2,000 years ago, with nothing more than a hole in the ground. So I guess there's just one question. Do flat earthers have a point? They claim there's no curvature to be found on Earth, and that it can't be a ball.
No curvature there to be found. How can it be a ball if nothing about it is round?
NASA's definitely in on it.
And we absolutely know for a fact, this ain't it.
Is it an image? Because images can be photoshopped, right?
You're gonna notice some cartoon clouds here, or Photoshop.
The strange part about this flat Earth belief is that it's relatively new. It's a fact that the ancient Greeks had proved that the Earth was round as early as 500 BC. The method they used was quite unconventional, but we'll delve into that later. Surprisingly, even after this discovery, the flat earthers only started to emerge in the 1800s. The movement began with a man named Samuel Robotham. It's the 1830s in England and science is booming. Discoveries are being made every day and technology is advancing rapidly. However, there's a man named Sam who isn't a fan of all this progress. He believes that the Earth is flat and sets out on an experiment to prove it. Sam decides to go to Old Bedford River, a relatively straight stretch of water that is about 10 kilometers long in Cambridgeshire. He proposes that if the Earth is a globe, then we should be able to measure the curve along this stretch of the river. According to his calculations, the curve is 8 inches after 1 mile, 32 inches after 2 miles, and so on. To prove his theory, he jumped into a river with his telescope and watched as a boat with a flag standing 1 meter above the water moved away from him. Surprisingly, even after the full 10 kilometers, he was still able to see the boat, which should have been more than 3 meters below the horizon. He was amazed at his discovery and exclaimed "Eureka!" He later wrote a book called Earth is Not a Globe under the pseudonym Parallax, which is pretty cool. Alfred Russel Wallace, an English surveyor, repeated the experiment to prove that the Earth is actually a globe, avoiding the errors made by parallax and accounting for atmospheric refraction. So one might think that this puts an end to the flat Earth theories. However, that is not the case anymore, thanks to the internet. The advent of social media has given people the freedom to post about anything they want. As a result, there has been a huge increase in interest in the flat Earth theory, with YouTube videos, viral tweets, and even a Mr. Beast video contributing to its spread. While some of it is undeniably funny,
and I can guarantee you that there is no curvature over distance.
It has gained more traction than ever before, thanks to platforms like TikTok, where short clips can reach millions of viewers every hour. In an attempt to prove that the Earth isn't a globe, a group of flat earthers performed an experiment that has been used since 1836. They performed this experiment in Netflix's documentary Behind the Curve. However, despite their efforts, there is no scientific proof that the Earth is flat. During the experiment, they used 2 boards, each having a hole located 5 meters above the water level. A camera and a torch were also used during the experiment. By aligning the torch with the holes, the light was expected to pass through both holes. However, the result was unexpected, and the camera did not capture any light. The reason is that the Earth is not flat. This very experiment was performed in the same English river by our friend Parallax. They have tried various methods to determine the motion of the Earth, including laser gyroscopes. However, when they turned on the gyroscope, they discovered that it was detecting a drift. They were not willing to accept this and started searching for ways to prove that the gyroscope was not accurately registering the motion of the Earth.
Is when we turned on that gyroscope, we found that we were picking up a drift. We obviously we're not willing to accept that, and so we started looking for ways to disprove that it was actually registering the motion of the Earth.
There have been numerous experiments to determine the shape of the Earth, such as using a spirit level on a plane, utilizing telescopes and cameras at the beach, and even deploying weather balloons. However, the results consistently show that the Earth is a globe. If any issues arise with these experiments, the field of physics can explain. It may seem surprising that we have known for thousands of years that the Earth is a globe, especially since we only began launching satellites about 60 years ago. However, it isn't as difficult as it may seem to tell that the Earth is not flat. There is a common misconception that Christopher Columbus discovered the shape of the Earth, but in reality, we had known that the Earth was a sphere for centuries before he was even born. Aristotle, a renowned Greek philosopher, believed that the Earth was a sphere. His observations of the stars convinced him that every star was equidistant from the Earth and moved in a circular pattern around the planet. However, Eratosthenes of Cyrene, a geographer and poet, proved that the Earth was a globe by measuring its circumference. To do so, he conducted an experiment. He heard about a well in the Egyptian city of Cyrene, where, on the summer solstice at noon, the sun's rays shone directly into the well, illuminating only the water at the bottom, not the walls. Eratosthenes compared the angle of the sun's rays in Cyrene to that in Alexandria and calculated the spherical size of the Earth. And so when the summer solstice came around, he built a pole in Alexandria and observed that it cast a shadow, proving that the sun was not directly overhead, but was instead slightly south. Using the distance between the two cities, Eratosthenes was able to calculate, using trigonometry, the circumference of the Earth. He measured the angle of the sun's rays off the pole to be 7.2 degrees, and he knew that the circumference of the Earth could be represented by a circle, 360 degrees. So using a value of 5,000 stadia, which translates to about 800 kilometers for the distance between the two cities, he found the circumference of the Earth. It's amazing to think that more than 2,000 years ago, a Greek mathematician named Eratosthenes calculated the Earth's circumference to be 250,000 stadia, or roughly 40,000 kilometers. Despite using only a stick as his tool, his calculations were less than 2% off the actual value that we can measure today. Besides this famous experiment and the observation of stars, it's not difficult to conclude that the Earth is a sphere. Our lunar eclipses look like this, but if the Earth was flat, they should look like this. Every other planet is also a sphere, and boats disappear over the horizon. This was a key observation that led Aristotle to believe that the Earth was not flat. Ultimately, I'm not really sure that this flat Earth belief is entirely genuine. I mean, it's clear that these people have a distrust in governments, the education system, and science as a whole, and maybe that's for good reason. But that's the beauty of science. Science is a powerful tool that helps to eliminate personal bias and uncover the truth through observations and experiments. However, it's easy to take knowledge for granted and overlook its importance. In 2023, the fields of science and technology have become so complex and advanced that they are almost impossible for the average person to fully comprehend. So maybe these people aren't stupid or misguided. Maybe there's something more that we could be doing to help them accept the truth. It is hard to say, but maybe next time you meet a flat earther, you can send them this video, and maybe, just maybe, they will see the light. And what do you think? Is the Earth really flat? Let us know down in the comments. And don't forget to press that flat subscribe button, and see you in the next one.